All right, so we're diving into The Richest Man in Babylon today.
Oh, classic.
A classic, right? Trying to unlock some of those ancient secrets to, maybe see if they still hold up in our modern world.
It's fascinating to me how this book uses stories like it's almost a financial fable.
Yeah, and it takes us way back, like ancient Babylon, a city known for being so wealthy. But right away, we meet Bansier.
This chariot builder.
Yeah, a chariot builder who's actually struggling, right, to make ends meet.
And I think that's the hook, isn't it? You've got this backdrop of incredible wealth, but here's Bansier. He's skilled, hardworking.
Yeah.
But he just can't seem to figure out this whole financial success thing.
He embodies that feeling, so many of us have of wanting more, wanting that financial security, but just not knowing where to even start.
And that's why I think to this day it resonates with so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, that desire for financial well-being, that's timeless, right? But the book, it goes beyond just wanting wealth. It pushes you to take action.
And that's where Arkad enters the picture, right?
Yeah.
The richest man in Babylon,
Right.
who becomes like a mentor to Bansier.
Exactly. He embodies the idea that wealth, it's not about luck.
Yeah.
It's not just about circumstance. It's about understanding certain principles and actually putting those principles into practice.
And he does this through stories, which I have to admit, it's a pretty brilliant way to teach financial advice.
Right.
It's way more engaging than just like some dry lecture.
It really is.
It's like you're just listening in on this like conversation about wealth creation.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the core principles Arkad starts to reveal in this first chapter is saving.
Saving. Okay.
Now, I know, in our world of like instant gratification,
Right.
saving might seem, I don't know, kind of old-fashioned.
A little bit. Yeah. But think about it. Even with all the sophisticated, investment strategies and stuff out there saving,
Yeah.
it's still the foundation.
It's the bedrock.
Yeah, like it's that first step towards taking control of your money.
Absolutely. And Arkad's kind of hinting at something that we see all the time in modern personal finance, right? It's this pay yourself first philosophy.
Get yourself first, yeah.
Setting aside that portion of your earnings before you even think about spending.
Almost like you're making a commitment to your future self.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of just hoping that wealth is going to appear,
Yeah.
you're actively taking steps to build it.
Exactly. And I think that's a powerful shift in mindset because when you start to consistently save, you're not just accumulating money.
It's more than that.
You're developing this habit of financial responsibility.
It's like telling yourself, hey, I'm worthy of financial security and I'm willing to put in the work.
Right. You're taking action.
Yeah, to achieve it.
That's a huge step in the right direction because once you have that foundation of saving, then you can start looking at other things, right? Like investing.
Right.
But it all starts with that initial commitment to setting aside some of your earnings.
Okay, so we've got this idea of desire plus action equals results. But saving, it's not necessarily a get-rich-quick scheme, right? I mean, how much of an impact can just setting aside a few coins really make?
Well, that's where compound interest comes in, and this is where things get really interesting, right? Think of it like a snowball rolling downhill.
Okay. Yeah.
It starts small, but as it picks up more and more snow,
It gets bigger.
it grows exponentially. It's the same with your savings.
So even small amounts, but saved consistently over time, can actually generate significant returns.
Absolutely, because you're not just earning interest on your initial saving.
Right.
You're earning interest on your interest.
Oh, wow.
So it's like your money is working for you, generating more wealth, even while you sleep.
No, that's a concept I can get behind. So it's not just about hoarding, stuffing it under the mattress.
Right.
It's about putting it to work, letting it grow and multiply.
And that's what The Richest Man in Babylon starts to show us, right?
Yeah.
It's a path toward financial freedom that's built on these timeless principles.
It's like they had a financial blueprint back then, and we're just, rediscovering it now.
Yeah. And what's interesting to me is these principles aren't just about becoming, the richest person in the world.
Yeah.
It's about achieving that level of financial security that allows you to live a fulfilling life.
So before we move on, to all the other principles that Arkad reveals,
Yeah.
I want to just pause here and ask you a question.
Okay.
If you were in Bansier sandals, knowing what you know now about saving, the power of compound interest, what's one small action you could take today to start moving towards your financial goals? It's like taking that first step kind of unlocks a whole new way of thinking about money.
Right.
But I got to ask, is saving really enough to become The richest man in Babylon?
Well, that's the thing.
It seems kind of...
Saving's the bedrock, the foundation, but Arcad doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
He's all about learning, becoming financially literate, not just like hoarding coins.
So it's not enough to just have wealth, you can know what to do with it. Kind of like how Bansir, he was great at building those chariots, but he needed Arcad's financial wisdom.
Yes, and this is where investing comes in, right? Arcad understood that money has to move, it has to generate more wealth. Just like a farmer, they plant seeds, not just to admire them, but to grow a crop.
Okay, so picture this. Ancient Babylonian investment meetings. Instead of stock tickers, they're discussing like the best camel caravans for trading routes or something.
So I love that image. But you're highlighting a crucial point. The investment opportunities themselves, they change, but the core principle's the same.
Yeah.
You're putting your money to work, making it multiply instead of just letting it sit idle.
Right, because even back then, I imagine inflation must have been a thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Like just holding on to coins. That loses value if everything else is getting more expensive.
And this is where understanding different asset classes comes in, right? We've got stocks, bonds, real estate today.
Yeah.
They probably had, I don't know, land, livestock, maybe shares in those camel caravans back then.
So diversification, was that important, even in ancient Babylon? Not putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Absolutely. Spreading your risk, having your money working in different ways, that was key to long-term success, even back then.
This is all making sense, but okay, saving, investing. Is there anything else in this chapter that just kind of blew your mind?
One thing that people often overlook is Arcad's emphasis on seeking wise counsel.
Oh, interesting.
He didn't become the richest man by being a lone wolf. He actively sought guidance from people who understood money.
So it's like having a financial mentor.
Yeah.
Someone who's been there, done that. Kind of like a personal Yoda for your money.
Ah, exactly. And that's still so relevant today.
Yeah.
Why try to figure it all out on your own when you can learn from other people's successes and, just as importantly, their mistakes, you know?
Think about it. Bansir had the chariot building skills, right?
Yeah.
But it was Arcad's mentorship. That was the missing piece.
And mentorship can take so many forms today, right? Financial advisors, trusted friends, even books and podcasts like this.
Well, we don't want to toot our own horns too much or anything, but yeah. Seeking out reliable sources, that's key.
Definitely. But let's be real for a second.
Okay.
Some people listening might be thinking, well, sure, Arcad was the richest man. He must have had some advantages.
Right. Like it's easy to dismiss his story as being, from a different time, a different world.
But here's the thing that's so powerful about it. The specifics of investment, sure, those change over time.
Yeah.
But those underlying principles, they hold true. Financial discipline, smart investing, it's not about your starting point. It's about your mindset.
So whether you're starting with a few coins or a decent chunk of change,
it's the same game.
Same rules of the game.
Exactly. Think about it like learning to play chess.
Okay.
The board, the pieces, those might change from one era to the next, but those strategies for success, that way you think ahead, those remain constant.
And just like chess, one bad move doesn't mean you lose the whole game.
Right.
It's about learning, course correcting.
Exactly. And this whole desire plus action idea, it implies taking ownership, responsibility for your financial choices, you know, and no one's going to just hand you wealth.
Stop complaining about an empty purse.
Yeah.
Start figuring out how to fill it.
Exactly. Arcad's advice, it's not about get-rich-quick schemes. It's about hard work, persistence, learning from your wins and your losses. It's a long game.
Okay, so we've got saving as the foundation, investing to make that money work, and seeking wise counsel along the way. Sounds like a solid plan, but where does that initial desire piece fit into all of this?
Remember Bansir's frustration.
Yeah.
He yearned for something better.
He did.
That desire, that yearning for financial stability, that's the fuel. Without it, even the best advice just falls flat.
So it's like recognizing that hunger for change, that's the first step towards actually making it happen.
Precisely. And that's the power of this book. It's not just some dry financial manual. It taps into that universal human desire for security, for prosperity, for a better life.
And it shows us that achieving those things, it's not about luck. It's about making smart choices, learning the rules of the game, and taking action.
It's about taking control of your own financial chariot, so to speak, setting your own course instead of just letting life happen to you.
Love that image. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's bring it back to our listeners' lives, right here, right now.
Absolutely.
Think about it. We all have goals, financial or otherwise. What's one area where you've been wanting to make a change, but haven't quite taken that first step yet.
Yeah, and how can we apply these principles, this desire for something better, taking action, seeking guidance, to those personal goals?
It's so easy to get stuck, in that cycle of wanting things but not actually doing anything about it.
It's easy to stay stuck.
But The Richest Man in Babylon, it really pushes you to bridge that gap, right?
Yeah, it's a call to action, but disguised as this captivating story.
Yeah.
And that's what I think makes it so effective. You're not just being lectured to. You're drawn into Banseer's journey. And in a way, you're drawn into your own journey, too.
It's like you're right there with him, feeling his frustration, and then seeing that transformation as he starts applying what Arkad is teaching him.
And that transformation, that's key, because it's not just about getting rich, right? It's about becoming the kind of person who can become rich.
Right, the type of person.
Someone who's disciplined, resourceful, always learning, growing.
It's almost like you're building those financial muscles.
Yes.
The more you practice those good habits, saving, investing wisely, seeking advice, the stronger you become.
Exactly. It's a process, not an overnight miracle, but that's also what makes it sustainable, right? It's not about chasing fads or risky schemes.
No.
It's about building that solid foundation for long-term wealth.
And it's inspiring to think that these principles, developed way back in ancient Babylon,
Thousands of years ago.
yeah, can still be relevant today in our modern world.
It speaks to the enduring power of human nature, right? We all share these fundamental desires for security, for prosperity, for a sense of accomplishment. And The Richest Man in Babylon, it gives us that timeless roadmap for achieving those aspirations.
So, as we wrap up this first chapter of our deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the one key takeaway you really want our listeners to walk away with?
I think it boils down to this. You have the power to change your financial destiny. It starts with recognizing that desire for a better future and then taking action, however small, to make it happen.
Don't wait for wealth to find you.
Go create it.
Create it, exactly. Become the master of your own financial chariots. Take the reins.
Set your own course.
And remember, this is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting started.
We've got a whole treasure trove of wisdom still to uncover in the chapters ahead. We'll dive deeper into specific strategies, explore different investment approaches, and uncover even more of Arkad's secrets.
This is going to be good.
So stay tuned for our next deep dive, where we'll continue exploring The Richest Man in Babylon. And in the meantime, we want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
What resonated most with you from this episode? What actions are you feeling inspired to take? Share your thoughts, share your experiences with us on social media using hashtag #TheDeepDiveBabylon.
Let us know.
Because remember, the journey to financial freedom, it starts with a single step.
That first step.
What will yours be?
That